Well, make sure you talk closer in. You gotta almost like kiss the thing.
Yeah.
Now, don't smooch it.
I'm not.
But I do need you to kind of kiss it a little bit.
Is that pretty close?
Just look at me. Make sure.
Oh gosh, you like right up on it.
Yeah, make sure you kind of do this thing here.
Okay. All right. So you gotta be like
close.
You gotta be like.
Well.
This feels a little awkward here.
Are we kissing the microphone?
No, I'm not.
Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, everybody. It's the Front Porch. Jason Sykes. Thanks for joining us. Today I got a really awesome, special, I'm trying to say the right things, special guest. Man, are you hot?
I'm good.
I'm going to do this. I got to cut the air down. Sorry, Jordan. When you're not here, nothing goes right. Okay. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, everybody. Hello, Jason Sykes here, Front Porch. Thanks for joining us. Got an incredible guest today. One of my great friends. Look, how many times have I said I can't survive life without a Murphy? Without a Murphy around? Everybody, this is Stephen Murphy. One of my, best friends. I'll tell you, do anything for anybody. And I'll tell you what, too. And look, we have him here because we're talking about skill set and how important it is to have a skill. Stephen, I'm just jumping right in this thing, but
that's cool.
Stephen teaches at Hines Community College. Now, you teach construction, right?
That's right.
Okay. So, but let me just say this. Now, Stephen can do anything. The guy can build anything. Pretty much, I don't want to say jack of all trades because there's nothing I've seen you do that.
I can mess up stuff, too. I'm pretty good at that.
Okay, well, what have you messed up? Because I haven't seen.
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time.
Hey, well, look, that pole barn that you built me a long time ago, it's still standing.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah, knock
on wood. Which, by the way, Stephen Murphy, thank you, had a hand in helping build this table, which I could not have, finished it without you. So thank you, Stephen.
You're
welcome. I appreciate that. So look. Back to what we were talking about. So today we're going to talk about skill sets. So now in previous episodes we've talked about encouragement. We've talked about bullying, several different things. The core foundational words of Cultivate Vision, we focus on strength, encouragement, leadership, skill set, heart, and spirit. Those are important, in my opinion, those are important topics that I think we should be talking about, especially with our young people.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we do, or what do we need to do as adults to try and, encourage our young people, to teach them, to give them leadership skills, to go out in the world and make a difference, to have a skill set so that they know how to do something.
Right.
Look. And not to throw jabs, but I tell you, when we were growing up, man, I think I knew how to. I was mowing the grass.
It too.
We had them old push mowers, and let me tell you, they weren't self-propelled.
Mm-mm.
Okay, look, when you were going down the hill, you were thanking God.
That's right.
What And you were looking for that big old igloo deal with the spout that had a bunch. Now, if it had Kool-Aid in it, it was special day.
Yes, that's right.
But
or Gatorade.
Normally, it would. Well, I wasn't special enough to have Gatorade.
Uh-oh.
If I had Kool-Aid, it was good, or else it was that hose water.
Yeah.
Which I'll tell you what, I've had folks look at me when I say, hey, you know, I drank out of the hose growing up. You did what? You didn't get sick? No. No.
May mess with us now, but, you
Hey,
know.
City of Jackson, I'm good.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, hopefully I might have a pretty good immune system. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
Look, back to what I was saying. Having a skill set. I mean, what does that mean, Stephen, to you, to have a skill set?
Well, I've been asked that before. Is, you know, what is a skill set? Like, you know, do something with your hands, or it doesn't necessarily have to be with your hands, but you know, you got to know how to do something mentally first. But can you do it with your hands? You have those fine motor skills. I look at a skill set as like a tool you put in a box, and it's like the box of, I don't know, we'll call it life or whatever.
Yep.
I guess I don't know any way to say it. But, you know, like growing up, you know, my dad was the one that, you know, he would take time to teach us how to do something.
Right.
And it wasn't like a formal, hey, son, come here. We're going to show you how to, you know, change oil in this car or whatever. But it was just something that he did that he brought us along with. And we learned how to do it. We learned by watching him, and we learned by doing. But those were skills that I was able to use later on in life.
Right.
And it's like, okay, we take a tool, we learn a skill,
Right.
and we put it in a toolbox. Do we use it every day? Not necessarily. But when we're faced with something in life of, you know, something's broken down, or we need to build something or fix something, we can say, oh, I've got the tool for that.
That's right.
Sometimes those tools are rusty.
Right.
And we have to kind of clean them off a little bit.
You got to improvise.
That's right. And so that, to me, a skill set is knowing how to do something. Nobody knows how to do everything.
Hey, case in point to that. Now, look, growing up in a military household, my dad being a Marine, look, I could shine shoes at a young age. I could make a bed and bounce a quarter off the pillow at a young age. But, hey, this is a funny story now. I didn't learn how to wash clothes till I went to college.
Really?
Brother, I couldn't. Now, look, I could iron.
Mm-hmm. I didn't learn how to iron until I was out of college.
Dude, hey, still am. I am the designated person that irons.
Really?
I tell you what, Tommy Creel, I love you, but I'm going to bring you up on this show. Tommy, I used to live with Tommy Creel, and I tell you what, I used to iron, of course, my shirts. Had to go to work. You know, my wife still makes fun of me. Used to, my shirts, she said you could shake them and they'd sound like sheet metal. That's not true. No. My dad maybe so, but that's not true. But seriously, though, Tommy, when I moved out, he told me that in the laundry room I left a film of starch that was on the tile on the floor.
No
way. And it took him
way.
forever to get up.
That's
funny. Because I ironed so much. I'm getting made fun of with this one.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's going to be an ironing board going across your screen. I'm sure Jordan's going to have a nice ironing board with my face on it. Bet. Okay, we're going to move on. Anyway, but no, you're right. That doesn't mean you have to know everything.
Mm-mm.
Okay, but you know, my granddad, he was. I tell you what, he loved making things. With his hands. When he had a floor covering business, a carpet store, and when he got to where he couldn't, you know, his knees got bad on him and whatnot. So he said, okay, you know, I still want to work. I still want to do things, be active. And so him and my grandmother, she could paint.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would make, you know, things out of wood. They made porcelain dolls.
Oh, okay.
And man, they would have a booth at the Canton Flea Market twice a year, and then they would go to these flea markets all over the South.
Yeah.
And they would probably do, I don't know, 7 to 10 a year, just depending on how much you got built. And every time they would go, they'd just about sell out everything.
Really?
Oh, they made these ironing boards and, hey, those VCR tape box holders. My grandmother would paint on them, you know. But and I'll tell you, the funny thing is, still to this day, there are people that I run into that still have my grandparents' stuff in their house.
Really?
Yeah. couple folks we go to church with. But anyway, so having
That's funny.
said all that, you know, a skill set now to me is a lot similar to what you said.
Mhm.
But there's one thing, and I didn't hear you bring up. Well, first, yeah, it is knowing how to fix something if something breaks. You know, look, you can't call someone to come rescue you every time.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but
Yeah,
you're going to have to wait. You know, I mean, it's, it is
Wait
what
and
it is.
pay for it.
But here's the other thing, too. You can make a living out of it,
That's right.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I look, I know a lot of folks that had a career for years, and then they retired, and then they did, what they
Mhm.
loved, and
Mhm.
like I said, making things, fixing things.
Right.
Look, I enjoy it. People think I'm nuts, but I actually like working.
Yeah. Well, it's fun.
Well, it keeps
At
me out
times.
of trouble.
Yeah.
But hey, I feel like, look, when I achieve something, I do something, with my hands, I feel like I accomplished something.
Yeah. Well, it's rewarding.
It is.
It's very rewarding.
So, but let's turn the table a little bit. So I print this report today. I showed it to you just a minute ago, and I haven't really gone over it completely, but it's what's the word I'm looking for, Stephen? It's
Scary.
it's a little profound.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, before I read this report, so I'm going to say this. I was in a hotel in Dallas on business. This was probably 4.5, maybe 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I picked up a paper in the lobby just to kill some time. And there was an article in that paper, and it said, in 7 years, there are going to be 400,000 less welders in America.
Mm.
I was like, man, are you kidding me? 400,000 less welders. Now, I'll tell you what, I don't know how I pulled it off, but I did obtain my welding certificate from Hines Community College.
Congratulations.
I did. I did it while working a full-time job and,
Mhm.
and doing all the things. Like I said, I don't know how I pulled it off, but I did.
He's not lying. I actually saw him up there
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah. Actually, you had a lot to do with that too, my friend. But we'll talk about that another day. But look, and I'll tell you, my welding class, mad respect for everyone in there. Lifelong friends I made.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, I heard some things while I was in there. So, two things. One, and I heard this from some instructors. I heard this from some other folks that would come up there and visit. It's not that the schools have a problem filling the classes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And, when the folks graduate and get their welding certificate, all right, look, they're hired immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember when we were in our last class this past fall, we were taking TIG,
Mm-hmm.
and a company reached out to the school and said, hey, tell any of your students that, hey, if they pass TIG and they finish, we might start them out at $28 an hour, anywhere from $28 to $32 an hour starting out.
Yeah.
To TIG weld.
That's good.
And I mean, everybody's eyebrows went, what?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure if someone took that job, but I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, but we had folks come in there, and I still had this article stuck in my head. And of course, I was asking people, hey, what's your plans and all that.
Right.
And so some instructors would say, you know what, we're all the time, sending graduates to different, jobs, in different places. And we're lucky if they last a year.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why? Two reasons. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
First and foremost, first reason is they said they can't stand the heat. And I'm thinking, now, hold on a minute. Do they not remember welding school? Because, brother, I can tell you, I can remember being in the shop in February, and it'd be 50, 45, 50 degrees outside, and I'm sweating.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you can only imagine what it was like, when we were in class in August and September. I mean, and we it didn't bother me. Got used to it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Right. And then the second thing is they couldn't handle the hours.
The hours?
Yeah. And so I asked some guys, I said, "No, wait. The hours."
You mean to tell me that they had to work an 8-hour day?
All I know is, a lot of the folks that hire entry level welders, a lot of the folks, you're actually right. A lot of the folks that hire entry level welders, they don't pay a lot of overtime.
No.
I mean, right now they don't have the money to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that they don't have the work. That's the thing. They've got plenty of work.
Yeah.
It's they just don't have the people to finish the work in a timely manner. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing. Look, we're seeing people shut their doors
because they don't have help.
It's not, and people are thinking, people going out of business because they're not making enough money. No, they're going out of business because they can't find anybody to help
to work. That's right.
Yeah.
And here's what's crazy: those students who have, the graduates, I guess you'd say, they've got a skill set.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit more to it than that. Just a skill set. You've got the big thing of work ethic.
Well, look, work ethic. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, and I had a huge wake up call this weekend. Mm-hmm. All right, my son and I we blacksmith.
Right.
And one of the tools that a blacksmith uses, if we're lucky enough to have one, is called a power hammer. Mm-hmm. Okay. Long story short, it does the job of, a regular hammer, just a lot stronger, and it saves your shoulder. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can get a lot of work. You can move a lot of metal and get a lot of work done. A
lot more productive.
That's right, more productive. And so, I'm gonna show you some pictures real quick of the TV on the monitor here, and you guys will be able to see this. So, I wanted to come and volunteer and help. And I used my welding skills, and I'll tell you what. And I had some friends that had attended some of these tire hammer builds. We call them tire hammers because, well, there's a tire on them. but I'll tell you what. A gentleman named Clay Spencer came up with the plans for this thing, and I'll tell you what, Clay, incredible job. And there's no telling how many hundreds. I mean, probably thousands of people actually have these or have multiple ones.
Really?
That's actually a picture of the welder that I used there.
Yeah, you use all MIG?
I did.
Okay.
But, these are the frames and, some of the pieces that we weld together. But the bottom line is, I was told, a friend of mine told me what to expect. He said, Jason, hey, they're going to wear you out. And I wanted to see, what would happen there because eventually, we're building the first building at our nonprofit site. It's going to be a 8,000 square foot shop, and we're going to do a lot of these things. But I wanted to host one of these, and so I wanted to see what it was about. There's another picture there, but so I'll tell you what. In 2 days, so Friday and Saturday. So Friday, I welded probably 13 hours straight.
Dang. 13
hours straight in South Louisiana, and it had rained that morning, and the sun came out. So you can only imagine. I mean,
nice
it wasn't July and August humid, but, brother, it was humid, okay?
Yeah.
And then Saturday was a beautiful day, but it got hot.
Right.
I probably put in 20 hours.
Yeah.
20 hours in 2 days. I mean, we were rolling.
Yeah.
But, hey, in 2.5 days, we got 22 of those things built. 22.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a lot of parts and a lot of welds.
And I'll tell you what, now there's a bunch of guys. I want to give huge thanks to John Perilou for letting us use his facility. And I tell you what, there's one person I don't want to leave out. I don't want to leave him out. Give me just 1 second. Curtis Herman. Curtis, incredible man. He also facilitated that build. And I tell you what, he came in there. He gave everybody their assignments. There was folks in there grinding, people putting other pieces together. Then of course, welding and just everybody was doing something.
Built it like an assembly
That's
line
right.
kind of deal.
Oh yeah, electrical work. There's a motor on that machine. But I'll tell you what, everybody had a smile on their face. And I'll tell you, there was a lot of guys in there that worked a lot longer than I did.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So bottom line is, I'm rambling, but bottom line is, hey, I'll tell you, it was a great weekend. 22 hammers built, and we enjoyed ourselves. So, and here's something I guess the thought I want to bring up is, so what's going wrong? What's happened? So let's marinate on that for just a second, okay? What's happened? So I'll pull this report, and it says here, fastest declining occupations. And it gives us the percentage of change that it is projected from 2021 to 2031.
Okay.
Am I reading that right?
Yeah. 10-year
Okay.
period.
Yep, 10-year period. Okay. So I really don't know. Some of this is a little vague, but cutters and trimmers, and it says I guess it means
Yeah, by hand.
by hand. Okay. 28% reduction. Here we go. Look here. Nuclear power reactor operators. Now take a look at this. It says here median annual wage for this profession, $104,000 and some change. Okay, $104,000. How many of you out there would love to make $104,000?
Yeah.
And this thing is saying 27% employment change in the negative, going backwards. Here, look here, a watch and clock repair person, 25% reduction.
Everything's going digital.
That ain't good. Let's see here, telephone operator, 25%. You know what? Now I can understand that. I mean, how many times do you? I hate it, guys. I hate it. But look,
sometimes technology
some
changes.
Some of these telemarketers, when they call.
Oh.
Hey, if someone hung up on me about 200 times a day, I don't know. I'd probably.
It's all automated now.
Be tough. Okay, you're right. It is. Even when you're ordering something.
Everything.
When you're going through the drive, what is that about? Okay.
They don't have no workers.
I'm getting in the weeds here.
They don't have no workers.
There you go. Electronic equipment installers, repair people, motor vehicles. All right, this is motor vehicle repair. 23% decline. Let's keep going. Look at here, floral designers.
They're not giving flowers anymore.
21% decline. Okay.
That's odd. Wonder why that is.
I guess guys are getting tired of buying flowers, man.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know. That's a pretty. I mean,
Like what?
I don't know.
Move on.
Yeah, let's move on. I don't know. I'm getting stuck.
That baffles me.
Okay, here we go. Hey, here we go. Brick mason.
Oh yeah. Even in this area, it's hands down. I used to have a couple of them on my phone. You could call. Now I don't know a single one. Of course, I've been kind of, out of it a little bit, but still, trying to find a brick mason is difficult.
Yeah.
Because it's so labor intensive, and it's nobody wants to do the
They don't want
hard labor.
They don't want to be in the elements.
Yeah.
Elements. Well, what are we going to do about that? Are we going to build our houses out of plastic?
No.
We sure aren't.
We're going to pay more for it.
If we go backwards, I think there was something that said plastic. I don't know. Well, maybe we get to that in a minute. Let's see here. Here we go. Executive secretaries. This doesn't really have a whole lot to do with what we're talking about. Well, it does a little bit, but 20% decline. Hey, they're making $62,000. All right. Here we go. Let's see. All right, here we go. Drilling and boring machine, tool setters, operators.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got it. Metal and plastic.
Yeah.
Okay. Just say a 19% decline. Forging machine, whatever they mean by that, 18%, probably about the same thing. Oh, here we go. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. We got our head over ourselves. Telemarketers have their own.
There you go.
Yeah. They have their own column, and that's a 18%. You would think that would be bigger, but okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Machine operators. Okay.
Some of them are going remote control, where a guy sits in a job site or trailer, and he can drive
He can
four
drive
dozers.
bulldozers. That's right.
4 of them at once.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Hey, that bulldozer that I got, it is equipped. Now, it doesn't have the actual box, because if it did, that's like another $100,000 or whatever it is.
Dearly for
But
it.
it is equipped to put that thing on there, and yes, you set a GPS deal, and it tells you where to go.
Takes it off.
That's right.
But even with that, that's a skill set.
You still gotta. Well, it is.
You still
gotta have somebody in the box.
Yeah, you still got to have somebody in the job site trailer, but you still got to have guys work on
You still gotta
them.
have a guy in the dozer though. Oh, you don't?
No.
You mean they?
There's a guy that can sit remotely, and
I
he
didn't
can
know
operate
that.
4 bulldozers at one time. But you still have to have
Learn
the
something new every
guys
day.
go out and work on them.
Oh yeah.
Maintenance. You got breakdowns. You got all that kind of stuff. Even
Yeah.
Caterpillar right here.
Hey, I ought to show that picture where I buried that 50,000-pound trackhoe that day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Help.
Yeah. You could have done that in a job site trailer and never got your shoes muddy.
Oh my god.
But you still got to go get it out.
Yeah, wear flip-flops. Here we go. Structural metal fabricators and fitters. We're going a little long here, but it's important topic. It's important to talk about. 16% reduction.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So having said all that, what? 2 questions. Why is this happening? And what are we going to do in 8 years?
It's less
if
than
all
that.
this.
What are we going to do right now?
Yeah, right now. But what are we really going to do in 8 years when, let's say, these numbers hit their mark, or let's say they're greater? What?
We're going to pay more for everything.
We are. Yeah. Look, a lot of things, a lot of occupations that it hadn't listed. Okay, HVAC folks, plumbers. How many of you guys have tried to get a plumber on the phone? Real quick.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. Electricians. Everybody.
Framers,
you're
mechanics.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So I tell you, here's the deal. And I see it. I see it with a lot of young people today. They just don't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to. They want the instant access.
Mm-hmm.
They want the instant deal.
Gratification.
They want to be able to pick up the phone, call somebody. It means more to them to pay somebody else to do it than for them to do it. Kind of situation. And look, if we keep going in this direction, it's going to get to the point to where, depending on where you live, there probably won't be anybody doing anything. What are we going to do then?
Right.
Okay. But look, back up with all that. So I'll tell you what. The reason why I'm focusing really hard, one of the reasons, obviously, this is another. Do I use the word? I don't know the right word to use. Epidemic?
Yeah, it is.
Some sort of.
Well, here's my take on it.
Tell me your
and
take.
this is my take, and you know, you can
hey, look, I'm
you can
not a
fuss at me
professional.
for whatever, and it's just
Bring it.
I don't know it all, but what I've seen in the past 12 years, I've been doing this for 12 years, and of course, you know, even before then, you know, being in the field, it's when our parents came through school, okay, the percentage of, let's just use males for instance,
Right.
okay, of young men
Right.
from what 15 to 18, okay, at your dad's age now,
Right.
okay, could they change a tire?
Absolutely.
Could they change their own oil?
Most of them.
Okay, they could probably gap a spark plug
Probably.
and do all that.
Yeah.
They could build small pieces of furniture. They knew how to measure. They knew how to cut. They knew how to do simple carpentry tasks. They weren't necessarily a carpenter or a mechanic,
Yeah.
but they knew how to do that. Why?
Well, one reason is they had classes in high school called shop.
Okay, all right. Most classes did have that, and that was just kind of a requirement.
That's
you know,
right.
the girls went to
Home ec. Yep.
okay, and then the guys went to shop, and they learned how to do a little bit of everything.
Right.
That's one part of it,
That's one part of it.
but I think it's bigger than that, and I think it goes back to the home.
Absolutely.
It's where the grandfathers, the dads, the uncles, even the neighbors didn't take that, you know, 12-year-old boy or girl where say, hey, come here, I need your help doing this or
Right.
doing that. And they learned, number one, by seeing it done, you
Yep.
know, right there in front of them.
That's right.
And being involved doing that. They took the time, our parents or their parents
Right.
took the time to teach them.
That's right.
Also, I mean, you can imagine, and we you know, you've got kids of your own,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, we get caught up in like, oh, it's got to be done. We got to do this. We got to do that,
Right.
and move on. And then if we involve our kids, it's like, oh my gosh, this is going to take me 10 times longer.
Right.
But
I'm guilty. Hey, I'm
and
guilty.
we get caught up
I'd
in
just
that.
rather do it myself and
Yeah.
move on.
But
That is not the right attitude.
But
to have.
what are we missing, or what are those kids missing when we don't take the time? And it's frustrating at times.
It is.
Not just with our own kids, but I mean, you know, in what I do is sometimes I get caught up in like, hey, this has got to be done, that's got to be done. Y'all got to do this, do that, and not okay. Hey, this kid doesn't know. I mean, this is his first time to do this
Right.
kind of stuff, or you know, he's still learning, and to have a little patience with him, and to know that, hey, what he's picking up right now is going to help him later on in life.
That's right.
So I think it's a twofold deal,
Mm-hmm.
and it quite honestly, the guilt lies at our feet,
It does.
because we're the generation that has not poured into these kids the way we should have, is like our parents did,
That's right.
and their parents did.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be, like I said, you know, I mean, heck, you got a neighbor kid who's wants to learn something or wants to do something, he has an interest in that kind of stuff, man, take the time to show him how to do something. Whether it's hunting, fishing, or working on a dirt bike or go-kart or lawnmower or weed eater or whatever,
Right.
building a deck, whatever. I've learned that, of course, it's just, you know, most people know this too. We want to be involved with something bigger than us.
Right.
You know, and if you involve a kid or, you know, involve other people, it's like, I guess there's a camaraderie there,
There is.
and it's, you know, a desire to like, oh, that was kind of fun. I enjoyed doing that. And they get to see, like if they got to complete, just say, a deck, you're building a deck in your backyard,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Right.
And they finished it. Yeah, it was hard work. You're out in the heat. You're getting used to the heat, right?
Right.
The elements. But you got to stop when you're done and go, hey,
Look
I
what
built
did.
that.
That's right.
Yeah. And there's some pride there. There's some encouragement there that, you know, the older person helping them can pour into those kids, because a lot of kids, what I see today, come in and they lack confidence.
That's right.
And you can see them when they walk in the door. It's like
don't have a clue.
They don't have a clue, and they're like they have
blank.
no confidence in themselves,
No.
because that's never been instilled in them.
That's right.
And that goes back to, I guess you'd say parenting, and I'm not trying to throw stones or anything. I'm guilty of it.
I'll tell you. Okay. So you hit the nail on the head, because again, I'm guilty of it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean it's easy.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because we've moved into that society that wants. I mean, it's a drive. I call it a drive-through society.
Oh yeah, now
we want to get in and out everything
microwave.
Now, and I'll tell you something. It has ventured on into to several occupations. I mean, people want everything now.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have access to it 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to wait. So the point I'm trying to get to is we just don't have any patience.
No.
Zero patience. And what that's doing, it's starting to unravel the fabric of the society that built what we have today. I mean, it's bigger than we realize.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Stephen, it's huge, and I'll tell you something else too. Another importance of having a skill set, and you talked about, someone having pride, building something, getting excited about it, what have you. So, okay, take a step back and let's talk about, blacksmithing.
Mm-hmm.
My son and I started doing. Look, when I saw him, make something out of metal, or let's say if we go to a show or we go to a demonstration, I mean, he can't take his eyes off of it. I mean, I can't either.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, wow, we can do that. We got the tools to do that.
Yeah. We have the ability to do it now.
Right. But I'll tell you something else. I've seen young people that didn't know how to do any of this stuff come together as a group and actually do a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got one kid who might be, fresh on my mind, autistic. You got another kid over here that might, not have any kind of a condition that we know of.
Yeah.
Got another kid over here that might, have, I don't know, ADHD, whatever. You got another kid over here that might, have some sort of, disability or something.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all these kids with these different conditions from different backgrounds and all that. And I've witnessed this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Learning how to make something together.
Yeah.
And they've just made friends with another young person that probably in any other social setting, they might not have ever talked to one another.
Right. Yeah. It kind of forced them to come together. Yeah.
So we could talk.
We could talk about
these
that
subjects. We could talk about them forever. But look, I want everyone to think about these things because, hey, look, it's right here. Pulled it right from the internet. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So apparently the government's trying to see what's fixing to happen.
Yeah. And I will say one other thing, and it's going to contradict, kind of our, you talk to any person our age or whatever, oh, these young'uns there just, they ain't willing to work, they ain't willing to do anything, whatever. As a whole, I'd say they're spot on.
Yeah.
But there is a remnant,
mm-hmm.
and there is a group of them, and I have them come through my program quite often,
right?
That are hungry, that are willing to learn, and they may not come from a background of, Daddy and Pawpaw showed me how to do this and that and the other, but they are hungry and they're willing to work. So I don't want to throw everybody under the bus because they're not all.
No,
they're not all in that same boat.
We're not at 100% yet.
That's right. But there are some kids, some young men, some young girls,
Right.
And young women that are willing to do the work.
Right.
And those kids, when they get in a setting like that, man, they just excel so fast.
They do.
And it's amazing what they can do with that. And it's not is this kid, a whole lot more, does he have a whole lot more skill set than that one? Not necessarily. He's got heart, he's got skill or work ethic. And that's what makes the difference.
Work ethic.
Whether that's in the classroom or in the shop.
Right. I'm gonna say one thing, and then I want to talk about something that you've done recently. But you talk about work ethic,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of going back to, our parents,
Mm-hmm.
or even when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, if I wanted something, I had to work for it.
Mm-hmm.
I cut yards. Man, I was laying carpet at 13.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, if I wanted to drive, I had to get a job.
Yeah.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
So I, it was instilled in me that, hey, look, whether you want to or not, I mean, man, I didn't want to go to work all those times.
Yeah.
Hey,
work is always going to be work.
No. I'd rather be doing something other than sometimes. Again, I am weird and I like to work,
Mm-hmm.
but I say that because my kids look at me. Anyway,
They will too.
But eventually, but
Mhm.
and
But it was
that's changed a
instilled
little
at
bit,
you
though.
at a very young
That's right.
age.
I knew that, hey, if I wanted anything, and it's not that if my parents could pay for it or not, no. But if I wanted it, I had to earn it,
Mhm.
bottom line. But, hey, so to feature something real quick, and this is really special, and again, when you first showed me what you did, Stephen, and the contraption that you came up with, I was blown away.
Mhm.
But, hey, guys, so Stephen Murphy here has come up with, you know what, I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I didn't come up with it.
Yes, you did.
I really did.
And we're going to show you real quick. But, Stephen, so tell everybody, just do it. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Well,
What'd you do?
A few years ago, my wife is a teacher at elementary school around here. And anyway, I walked in her classroom one day, just gotten off work, whatever, she was still up there. And I just walked in. Nobody said, hey, what are you doing here? Nothing like that.
Right.
Obviously, I wasn't a bad dude.
Right.
And anyway, I just walked in. I was like, this ain't too good. I didn't feel good about her being like that. She was right next to a road, and
Right.
Any old joker could come up in there. So anyway, I did what any dude would do, and I went to the shop and was like, oh, make something. So anyway, I made something, and anyway, it just keeps the door from being opened in a classroom. So anyway,
Keep going.
some other people found out about it. They wanted some, so I built some for them. And then another school called me and said, hey, we want to look at those. And anyway, we went back and forth. Well, what about this door? What about that door? And I was like, well, let me go back to the drawing board. And so like a month had passed, and I had in my garage a pile about 2 feet high in the corner of prototype parts and everything.
Right.
And everything I did would cause another issue with another type of door or whatever.
Right.
So anyway, they said, we need something permanent, we need something fast, we need something secure,
Right.
and we need something to where law enforcement can open the door should an active shooter come in.
There you go.
I said, okay. I went away from there, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm done here. I was my brain was gone,
Mm-hmm.
and I was not able to do it. So I actually went to bed that night,
Mm-hmm.
and I had every plans of just loading up my trailer full of scrap and
And being done with it,
and
right?
being done with it. So, cross that off the list. And so anyway, I was like, Lord, if you want me to do this, you're just going to have to show me.
Right.
And I went to bed.
Mhm.
Well, about 3
Be
o'clock.
careful what you ask for.
About 3 o'clock the next morning, I woke up, and it wasn't like I was completely awake, but because it takes me a minute to wake up. But I could see, it was like I was looking at a set of plans.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm sure, some people won't believe me or whatever, and that's cool. But I was looking at a set of plans.
I believe you, bro.
And so anyway, that morning, about 6 o'clock, I went on and finally got up, and I started tinkering with it, started making it in the garage, welding it together. And as I'm making it, I'm like, this is going to be fast. This is going to be secure.
Right.
This is going to be permanently attached, and
it's going to work.
It's going to work. So anyway, I made some a few years ago and sold them to private school. We just finished Pearl Public Schools. All their classrooms have them.
Right.
And so anyway,
this is an entire school district.
Yeah, it's an entire school district. But one quick thing, while I was working,
just one. Okay.
While I was working with,
I'm proud of him.
With Pearl Public Schools, they had a few doors that were exterior doors. Most classrooms are interior.
Right.
And so anyway, the key that I had would not work on those, and so I was like, "Dadgummit," But I came up with the key. This one, okay, on the last design. Anyway,
I got you.
So I went home and I was like, just racking my brain. Didn't sleep that night, and just thinking, back to where I was at, a few years before. Racking my brain, and I was like, this ain't gonna work. And so I was driving home the next day, and I was like, Lord, what do I do? Do I just can it, or just keep doing the other one?
Keep on trucking?
Yeah, just keep on trucking. And he just said, go to the cross. I mean, just like I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Go to the cross. And I was like, what in the world? Like, did I not hear this right?
No.
And he just said, go to the cross again. And I was like, all right, Lord, what in the world are you saying? And he said, the cross is the key. And so I was like, oh. And so it all kind of hit me then, kind of came, full circle.
Yeah.
So anyway, the key, the tool that's used to, for law enforcement, for administrators to get in, say little Susie or little Johnny like Susie in the classroom, whatever.
Right.
They still have access.
I got you.
So anyway, that's the shape of the key is a cross.
Can we see it?
Yes. Let me get it.
All right. So what?
Oh, the whole thing.
We want to show everybody, ladies and gentlemen, you need to see this thing. So here's the key. Now look at here. It is literally a cross. All right. Let's see. Move it over so everybody
Do I need to move?
can see you. Okay. So if you guys can see this, you might can, you might not. But the bottom line, the Iron Guardian, my buddy Stephen Murphy, has come up with an incredible device to help keep our young people safe from an active shooter.
Yeah, it could be
I want to
mounted.
publicly say how much I am proud of you.
Well,
and
I
let me tell
appreciate
you
it.
something, everyone. If the time had not been put in to Stephen at a young age, if, being exposed to learning how to do things and just having those opportunities and having that work ethic instilled in you, this wouldn't have happened. Look, it like we talk about. What's our organization called? Cultivate Vision. We're planting those seeds, and we're cultivating that ground, and we're continuing to pump nutrients, pump those things that a seed and a plant needs to grow and blossom, and turn into something beautiful, and that's what's happened here. This is incredible. I knew when he showed me this, I knew big things were going to happen. He's already done this for several schools, an entire district. Who knows where you're going to go next, my friend? Bottom
No.
line is, Stephen, you're incredible, dude. And this is him. Hey, look at here. Here's the key. And what's the key? What's the key to everything?
The cross.
The cross.
I didn't come up with that. I'm not that smart.
You're the vessel that made it.
Well.
There you go. You're the one that stayed faithful and did it. Congratulations, my friend.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, but at the end of the day, skill set's important. All right? It's important that we teach our young people, look, not just things to handle everyday mishaps,
Mhm.
but it's good to teach our young folks in a setting where they can meet other people and look, create those friendships that otherwise might not have happened anywhere else.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what we're trying to do here. But
It can lead to so many different things. It can lead to a job. You can get a job with that.
Right.
You can, meet friends that way. You gain, confidence doing that kind of stuff.
That's right.
And you can do a little bit of everything.
You can build something
that's
that
right.
saves lives.
Well,
So, hey, we think it's important, and, this is definitely something that our foundation is going to continue to talk about. We're going to continue to pursue, to teach our young people, give them opportunities to learn things if they want to, just expose them to the ability of asking themselves, what if I watch this? What if I learn how to do this?
mhm.
And just kind of see where it takes us. But, Stephen, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Look, again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Look, when I think of skill set, I think Stephen. There's nothing this guy can't do. So, listen, hey, thank you again, my friend. I appreciate it. Look, brother, I love you. Thank you for everything you do for everybody. You definitely got a heart bigger than anybody ever seen. And look, we need more of you. So keep trucking. I know this thing's gonna go higher than you're ever gonna believe it will. I'm just ready to see how far you go with it, brother. So
Cool.
for all I know, you're probably going to create something else. I don't know.
No, I can't come up with that.
You gonna join Elon Musk and create a rocket?
Who's that?
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Tune in next time. Everyone have a good day. Thank you.